Did Andre Iguodala lock up LeBron in the 2015 finals? No, but he did do just enough to slow down the king in his prime, which played one of the biggest factors to Golden State winning their 4th championship in franchise history. So in this video, we're going to go over how both Iggy and Golden State try to guard LeBron throughout this series. Now let's start off by looking at just how ridiculously good LeBron was at age 30. At this point of his career, James's physical tools were unmatched, having a crazy blend of speed, quickness, strength, and power, which allowed him to abuse pretty much every matchup the Warriors threw at him. Now many LeBron haters will say he had quote-unquote no bag, but I honestly disagree with this, because sure, LeBron doesn't have crazy Kyrie-like handles, but his skill with the ball married perfectly with his athletic tools. LeBron was really good at building momentum with the ball, commonly galloping and skipping his feet to load up for blow-bys. Watch James go through and lift both feet in the air, then he punches his left foot back to push himself downhill. And from these spots, James was also extremely agile, being able to explode downhill then quickly change direction. You'll see him here again skip both feet up and punch off his left to attack. And you'll see Iguodala completely wall off his initial drive, but James gets to a right-left euro to create a wide open finish. This move here is tough, where LeBron's playing in transition and he again gallops up to build momentum, but now he's going to plant off his right foot to get to a crossover. Now once LeBron got himself in the deep paint, it didn't really matter where his man or any help side defenders were, because James had the ability to muscle and fight through contact as if he was playing against a bunch of JV players. You'll see Klay here play solid defense and slide with LeBron's initial move, but James's physicality moves Klay back as he bullies his way downhill. I've always thought that throughout LeBron's career, that a really underrated part of his game has always been his touch. James has a variety of different hook and push shots that always seem to die at the rim, and he loves to use these when weak side help is early to rotate over. Right here, we again have Thompson and LeBron matched up, and notice as James attacks, how David Lee slides over from the weak side to close off the rim, but James gets to a 2-foot stop and puts up this tough bank shot. And that touch seamlessly carried over to LeBron's post game. Again, James didn't really possess magical footwork that other elite post scorers had, but his strength allowed him to overwhelm plenty of matchups. Watch him on this play completely put Draymond Green underneath the basket. Now what also made LeBron's game really scary is that he was also one of the league's best playmakers. Now this Cavs team was obviously short-handed, missing both Irving and Love, but Cleveland was still able to surround James with shooters. And LeBron was one of the best players of all time at simply reading the floor and snapping passes across the court. LeBron was also great at using his eyes to manipulate the defense and create wide open looks for his squad. You'll see him here working Klay down to the elbow, and notice how James has his eyes glued on Thompson at the block, which pulls Harrison Barnes down and creates a wide open 3 for J.R. Smith. Now you'll see LeBron drive it to the baseline, and watch where he leaves his feet and puts his eyes on Shumpert in the corner, which now causes Curry to leave Thompson and sets up the dump off pass and finish. And what also made James's facilitating really special was how he had no fat in his mechanics, being able to attack downhill, then immediately zip a pass across his body that's right on the money. This pass right here is crazy, where LeBron snaps a skip pass right from his outside pocket, and it takes a ton of strength to be able to laser a pass like this across the court. Rifle pass, J.R. Smith for 3, knocks it in. So James's blend of downhill scoring and playmaking was the two main factors to his postseason success. But the main foundation for LeBron's game was putting pressure on the rim, and Golden State needed somebody in this series who could offer up some resistance and match up with LeBron physically, and that's when Iggy comes in. So throughout the Warriors' playoff run, Andre Iguodala was one of their primary on-ball defenders. Iggy was listed at 6'7", 220, with a 7-foot wingspan. And on top of that size, Andre was also really mobile, being able to both contain the ball and navigate through screens really effectively. So for Golden State, he easily had the best combination of size and movability, which is the combination you need to slow down a player like LeBron. So the blueprint for guarding a great player like James has always been to just make it difficult, and that's what Andre did throughout the series. When Iguodala was on the court, LeBron scored 26 points per 36 minutes, while also shooting just 38% from the field. But when Iguodala was off the court, James scored 35 points per 36 minutes, and his overall field goal percentage jumped to 44%. So like we went over, Andre had both really good size and mobility, and this allowed him to keep LeBron in front off the dribble, while having the strength and length to make things really difficult in the paint. One thing Iguodala commonly did when defending LeBron in isolation was give him just a little bit of space. This cushion allowed Andre to both read where James was attacking, and give him some more time and space to react and cut off angles.
Iguodala stays with it, makes it a difficult shot.
You'll see LeBron on this play skip up to build momentum, and again, notice from here how much space Iggy is giving him, and that gives him enough time and space to react to LeBron's explosion, and wall up his attack, to then use his length to disrupt his finish. And these details may seem small, but it really had a huge impact in not letting LeBron get cleanly downhill. You'll notice on this play how Iguodala is now up and in LeBron's space. And from here, James can just use his quickness to get Iggy on his hip and extend into a finish. Now the clear game plan for Golden State was to bait LeBron into jumpers, and this was really his Achilles heel throughout the playoffs. In the entire 2015 postseason, LeBron shot 23% from 3 and around 31% in the mid-range, which is just flat out not good. When we look closer at the Warriors' defense, they were giving James a ton of space throughout the series, going under his screens, playing heavy and drop, and doing everything they could to lure him into jumpers. Now this for sure worked for Golden State in spots, but there's no perfect way to guard the King, and LeBron was still finding ways to get into the deep paint. Now when LeBron was matched up against Iggy, I thought he found a ton of success in the post, specifically when he committed to lowering his shoulder and playing bully ball. For as strong as Iguodala was, James was still in a completely different weight class, and Andre wasn't able to contain him one-on-one on the block. But as the series went on, the Warriors started sending extra help at James, and they were pretty much able to eliminate this for most of the series. So then in response, the Cavs primarily had LeBron playing in pick and roll, and this is where Cleveland found their most consistent success throughout the finals. Now like we previously saw, the Warriors had their big sag deep and drop to try to lure James into jumpers, but when LeBron was able to come off these screens cleanly and get ahead of steam, he would absolutely butcher these drop coverages. Again, being able to use that combination of strength, speed, and explosiveness to attack into open space. On this play, you'll see James work off the screen, and notice how Draymond Green is waiting for him in the paint, and watch how James drives it right into his body, and puts him completely underneath the basket. Now on this play, you'll see how the Cavs are setting the screen well below the 3, and again, notice how much space Golden State is giving James, with Draymond going under, and the center sagged back in the paint, but LeBron's going to use that space as a runway, and explode to the rim. And again, LeBron's ability to quickly explode and attack angles made him pretty much impossible to cover in pick and roll. Watch here how Iguodala gets just slightly out of position, navigating over the screen, and in just one dribble, James is already elevating at the rim. So the question some of you may have is, why could the Cavs just do this the entire series? Just simply put LeBron in pick and roll and let him play downhill to overwhelm the defense with his rim pressure and playmaking. But from what I saw, fatigue became a big issue for James as the series went on. It's pretty much impossible for one player to carry his team, primarily using his athleticism. And because of this, James would go through stretches in games where he would heavily rely on his outside shot, which like we went over wasn't consistently falling for him. Now of course in spots, James was able to make these, but I can guarantee you that these were shots the Warriors were going to live with. Fadeaways like this are just extremely tough. Notice how heavily LeBron's momentum is pulling him backwards, and while sure he does make it, these are still shots the Cavs offense couldn't stomach. Cleveland was at their best with James creating layups and dunks at the rim, and using that gravity to create spot-up threes. But if LeBron was taking tough mid-range twos, that was a win for Golden State.
Pushes off a bit, falling away, misses Curry.
And this is where Iguodala should get a ton of credit, because he made LeBron work for pretty much every bucket throughout that series. And I think that played a big factor to James wearing down as the series went on. Now if there's anything we learned from this series, it's that basketball is a team game. I think it's pretty clear that the Cavs had the best player on the court, and probably the best player in the world too. But with both Kevin Love and Kyrie out, Golden State pretty clearly had the better team, and I think both Iguodala and the Warriors team defense was able to wear down James as the series went on. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments who the kid should break down next. The Kid's here.